Good morning, children. Welcome to Commander's Group of Schools online teaching. Today, we'll see the second chapter in 10th class biological science textbook, that is respiration. I think you have taken your tiffin and afternoon you will go for lunch. So, think that if you skip the tiffin and lunch, you don't have the enough energy in the evening to carry out of your daily activities. So, from this it is clear that the food provides the energy. So directly the food will not produce the energy. So when the food is broken down during the process of respiration, the energy will be liberated. Hence, the respiration is the most important life process for us, which releases energy to carry out of our life activities and our bodily activities. Respiration continuously occurs when oxygen is plentiful. For the cells to undergo the respiration continuously, it needs oxygen, water and food. So, it produces energy continuously to carry out our body functions normally. So, in our body, the respiration occurs in the cells. In this process, the food, oxygen and water combines, produces the energy. That is, oxidation of food material occurs in the cells, hence the respiration in the human beings is called cellular respiration. The word respiration has come from the Latin word respire, is nothing but to breathe, which includes the chain of processes from the process of inhalation to use of oxygen in the cells. Before 14th century, people does not know about how the life processes occurs in the body. So they don't know about how the respiration occurs in the body. They know that only taking of air into the body and removing of air from the body is called respiration. But during that time, the respiration word is used as a medical terminology. So, according to medical term, it is used passage of air into the body and production of heat in the body is called the respiration. Before 18th century, many scientists worked hard to explain the process of respiration, but Priestley and Lavoisier comprehensive work helped to know about the properties of the gases and exchange of gases, how it occurs in the body. So, you have seen in the first chapter about Priestley's experiment. He took the mouse, mint plant and burning candy in a bell jar, and he is able to explain how the exchange of gases occurs between the plants and animals. So, in this chapter, we will see how the Lavoisier conducted the experiments in the chemical laboratories. By using the chemicals, he is able to explain how the exchange of gases occurs in the body. In the first experiment, he has taken the bell jar, a trough of water, and in that he burnt the charcoal. And he confirmed that whenever the charcoal or carbonaceous material burn, it liberates the fixed air. So, in the olden days, the fixed air, now what we are calling as a carbon dioxide gas, they used to call it as a fixed air. So from this, it is confirmed that whenever the burning of carbonaceous material produce the carbon dioxide. The second experiment carried out by the Lavoisier is, he burnt the metal, that is the phosphorus. When the phosphorus is burnt, it does not use any water vapor. And he confirmed that the phosphorus took some part of air itself or some fluid elastic medium helped for burning the phosphorus. So from this, Lavoisier confirmed that the substance, that is the phosphorus, when it is burned, took the substance from the air, so that is oxygen, and he told that it has a respirable air. So that is nothing but during the process of respiration and during burning of phosphorus, the same gas is used by the both things, and that he called it as respirable air. So burning of the things and in the process of respiration, our body uses respirable air. And after many works, then he named the respirable air as the oxygen. So logically, he concluded that during the process of respiration, exchange of gases occurs between the air and lungs. So how much amount of oxygen is utilized, the same amount of carbon dioxide will be liberated. During the days, chalky acid gas also called as carbon dioxide. So our body uses oxygen, the same amount of the carbon dioxide will be liberated during the process of respiration. So after the findings of Lavoisier, next it gave path for many other scientists to carry out the process of respiration. So he gave a path how the process of respiration has occurred. So during 19th century, John Doppler, in his book Medical Physiology, he wrote that the chief material received by all living beings, matter, when it burns in the presence of oxygen and water vapor, produces carbon dioxide, water and energy. So that is nothing but in the cells, the chemical compounds will be burned in the presence of oxygen and water, produces energy. Along with that, carbon dioxide and water also will be liberated. So, as this process occurs in the cells, we call it as cellular respiration. So, the respiration in the human beings is called cellular respiration. Each and every cell of our body will undergo the respiration and produces energy to carry our body functions normally. Next, we will see the steps and events in the respiration. It is not very easy to explain whole the process of respiration because it involves several biochemical methods and physical process involved in the respiration. So, in order for our general understanding, we carry out the process of respiration from a simple equation. First step in the respiration is breathing. This process includes inhalation and exhalation. That is taking in of air and removing of carbon dioxide from the body is called breathing. So after entering of the air into the lungs, the exchange of gases occurs at the alveoli. The oxygen that enters into the alveoli goes to the blood capillaries. So that is the second step in the respiration. The oxygen enters from alveoli to the blood and the carbon dioxide comes from blood to the alveoli. So the blood takes the oxygen to the cells. So that is the gaseous exchange at the tissue level. So the oxygen enters into the cells and the cell which contains the carbon dioxide is binded by the blood and will be carried to the lungs. As the oxidation of the food material occurs in the cell, we call our respiration as a cellular respiration and energy will be liberated during this process. Hence, we can explain the process of respiration by taking this simple equation and by following these steps. Next, we will see a simple experiment for the breathing. Anyhow, you know that breathing is nothing but inhalation and exhalation. And you know that during the process of exhalation, we exhale carbon dioxide. And we, from the lower classes, we learned that when carbon dioxide is introduced into the lime water, it changes the lime water into milky white. So, we experimentally prove that exhaled air contains large amount of carbon dioxide. So, we will be taking two test tubes and these are connected with these straws. In each test tube, we will be taking the lime water and keep the straw near your mouth and exhale your air. So, exhaled air produces the lime water into milky, that is, it changes into calcium carbonate. So, from this, it is clear that we exhale carbon dioxide during the process of respiration. And in another test tube, here we will be taking the Pitchkari straw and will be sending the normal air. Here, the lime water will not change into milky white. From this, it is clear that when compared to our surrounding air, we exhale large amount of carbon dioxide. So that carbon dioxide made our lime water milky. So from this experiment, it is clear that when we send the normal air into the test tube, here the lime water will not change immediately into milky white. Whereas if the exhaled air turns the lime water immediately into milky, that it clearly shows that our exhaled air contains large amount of the carbon dioxide. Next, we'll be seeing the pathway of the respiration. So here the pathway of the respiration is nothing but, here we will be seeing how the air enters into our respiratory system and how the air comes out from the respiratory system. So how the air travels in and out of the body will be clearly learning in this topic. So the following are the parts of the respiration, that is first part where the air enters into our respiratory system is nostrils, nasal cavities, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, lungs and blood. So these are the main parts of the respiratory system. We clearly learn how the air enters into our respiratory system. So the first part from which we take the air into our body is nostrils. So these are the two nostrils present in our respiratory system which will be helpful for taking in of air. So the nostrils are the first parts which are helpful for us to take the air. So the nostrils leads to the two cavities called the nasal cavities. These nasal cavities are separated by a smooth bone called the septum. And when we go inside the nasal cavities, here we observe a mucous membrane and tiny hair-like structures. The tiny hair-like structures trap the dirt and bacteria which is present in the air. And the air is humidified or get warmed in the nasal cavities before it is entering into the next part of the respiratory system, that is the pharynx. So when we'll see the pharynx, it is a common passage for both air and food. So in the pharynx, we observe a flap-like structure called the epiglottis. This epiglottis functions efficiently and sends the air into the windpipe and food into the esophagus. So then the air enters into the next part of our respiratory system, that is larynx. So this larynx, it is also called voice box. It has two tough vocal cords. When the air it is exhaled out, it produces the sound. So that's why the sound will be produced when we talk or when we give a speech or when we sing a song. The vocal cords which is present in the larynx will vibrate and produces the sound. So the epiglottis efficiently sends the air into the larynx. So larynx is called the voice box. Then the air comes to the next part of the respiratory system, that is trachea. So when we touch the trachea near our neck region, we can feel the trachea. Hold the trachea passes neck. The trachea is made up of with C-shaped cartilaginous rings which prevents the trachea from collapsing and closing. And the air easily enters into the next part of the respiratory system. The trachea at the chest region broken into two branches called the bronchi. So one bronchi goes to the right lung and another bronchi goes to the left lung. So inside the lungs, the bronchi is broken into several small chambers called the bronchioles. And each bronchiole is supplied with a tiny blood capillaries called alveoli. So we know that the alveoli is the main part in the respiratory system through which the gaseous exchange will be occurred. So from the alveoli, the gas diffuses from alveoli, that is from the lungs to the blood. So in this way, the respiratory system in our body has seen the pathway of air travel in our respiratory system. Tomorrow, we will continue the mechanism of the respiration.